Yo, Hendo here with Average Dude Slow-Pitch. Today, I'm bringing out something just kind of a little bit different. We've had a lot of people message us, comment different things about, hey, what can I do if I don't have a BP partner? They've asked kind of what do I do when we're not doing kind of the videos, live BP, just stuff you can kind of work on. Typically, what I'm gonna show you kind of here is what I work on when I'm at home. Maybe I can't get out here to the field. I do enjoy doing this more at the field because off the tee, you can kind of see ball placement and all that kind of stuff. However, all it takes is, at least for me, I just have an open 7x7 net that I use in the garage, and I'll do kind of the same type of drill. I do believe this is pretty darn similar to what Flip Washington, if you don't know who that is, from Juneau Athletics, posted a year or two ago. He does kind of the general same thing. I think he uses a jimmer. We'll talk about all that here in a minute, but regardless, the kind of idea here is to get nice and loose in the beginning with kind of a weighted bat. So I'm gonna start with the 2.5 pound smash stick. I do have a 3 and a 3.5 at the house, so just kind of up to whatever you want to use, or just simply a jimmer stick, some sort of weighted bat, something you can use in the beginning to really kind of get your hands going, open up your back, loosen everything up, while also trying to maintain kind of that swing mechanic. And then from there, I switch to, it really doesn't matter what weight you use, but I have a Bomb 34-31 wood bat. I go with the heavier wood bat because, again, I'm trying to keep the weight up there, kind of help with that hand speed while maintaining those mechanics. And then from there, I'll switch to whatever bat I'm using that day. Today, I'm just out here with the APC Vanilla Gorilla and taking swings there. And so I'll try to show this from different angles. You might be able to see it here, but basically from where I'm going to be initially set up, which for me, I stand with my back foot kind of right at the front of the plate. This is set up to right where I can get into that kind of cut swing, and we're aiming basically just middle. Again, if you had a screen set up, or a net, sorry, in the garage or really anywhere else, what we're looking for at this point is pretty much just straight at dead center of that screen. We don't want too high, we don't want too low. Obviously, if it's straight down towards the bottom of the net, you hit at the pitcher's feet, or if it's left and right, ground ball, too high, fly out, things like that. So right now we're working on a nice level swing. I'll do, really, there's no set number, but I'll take enough swings with the weighted bat initially to ensure kind of my back feels loose, everything like that. Then from there, I'll probably take about 15 to 20 more swings where I'm going a little more like full speed with the weighted stick in order to make sure I'm kind of cutting through the ball. Then the reason I use the wood bat, and again, I think this is the same thing Flip was saying as well, is when you're using the weighted bat or the wood bat, when you're making contact, if you get any sort of sting on your hands, anything like that, you know you didn't catch it quite right, obviously. And so this lets me make sure with that swing mechanic, I'm squaring the ball up while still getting a little more weight to it. And then obviously once I'm kind of fully loose, I'm going swings with the VG. Then there's a ton of other ways you can kind of change this around. Once you're kind of loose, you've taken care of kind of that middle piece, you're through the ball, then you can make the adjustments with the tee, not with your feet, right? So if I'm gonna start pulling the ball, I may put that out a little bit further away from me. So now I'm catching the ball out here for a pull. And then if I'm going oppo, I'm bringing it in a little bit more, still making sure it's in the strike zone. And with here, still in my same spot, now I'm catching the ball here, and that's my backside. So that's what's nice about being at the field, is you can make sure you're kind of finding those holes. Every now and then I will set up like orange cones that would simulate kind of where that 5-man positioning would be. But just gonna run through this real quick for you. Obviously not gonna make you sit through every swing. I'll do a couple from this angle just so you can kind of see the distance. Then fast forward through some swings until I'm done here. I'll do some angles straight from the kind of from the rear so you can see where obviously where the ball's ending up. And then I'll do a couple from out kind of pitcher's perspective just so you can see all those pieces of it. And if you have questions, let me know. If there's something else you want to kind of see, let me know. But again, people have been kind of asking. This is something you can definitely do on your own. And one thing I will do is in the description of the video, you'll see all the different equipment I use kind of listed out there. I'll tell you, like the screen, I know I don't have the net out here, but the net I have is purely just right there off Amazon. Tees, there's a bunch of options you've got. I'll put the 1 or 2 that I have. I've got this, which is the GT out here. I've also got a Tanner tee back at the house, things like that. So anyways, let's go ahead, get started, and kind of get loose, because we're going to do some BP videos here a little bit later for some reviews, and so figure this is kind of a good way to start anyways. And I didn't mention it kind of in the beginning portion, but it doesn't really matter what type of ball you use. I'm going to have the Pro M's out here right now because when I do put swings on that VG, I am trying to bring the compression down a little bit more for a comparison video we're doing later today, and also because that's going to be my gamer version. It's still sitting, I think it was at 270 with about 100 swings on it. Again, those new APCs are great, but I still want to bring that compression down and get as hot as possible. So I am using the Razzo Pro M's. However, most of the time when I'm hitting BP, we're not out here on the videos, I'm purely using the 52s, protect whatever bats I'm using. If you're using a jimmer, obviously it won't matter. With the smash stick, I've swing live with this thing all the time. I swing TCBs, everything like that. So far, no issues, which as I said, I'll probably end up breaking it today, but whatever you want to use weighted bat wise, obviously I get it, not everyone can go out and spend a whole bunch of money on stuff, so whatever works for you, grab that. If you do need some BP balls, you don't have them, just understand this, something I learned recently is the companies, obviously if they have a USSSA stamp, ASA stamp, any sort of association stamp, they paid a little bit more to get that stamp, and so those balls are gonna cost a little bit more. So feel free to get unsanctioned balls, and what I mean by that is, another reason getting those evil BP, whether it's the Rockets, which simulate kind of your Pro M's, or the 52s, which obviously simulate 52s, you can get those for quite a bit cheaper. You use our code AVERAGE. I'm telling you right now, we don't get kickbacks on that. That's purely to save you guys money. So if you want to go over there, use that. That'll save you some money. There's plenty of other sites you can get different BP balls from, get used balls, whatever. But just whatever USSSA and or ASA bat you're going to use, once you're done with the weighted bats, use a ball that's going to obviously tailor to that. So if you're somebody who needs to break their bat in, use whatever ball you want. If you're somebody who's swinging an M2, M5 Monster, you better only have 52s. If you're swinging something that's super broken in or fragile, don't use Pro M, stick with 52s. All right, so for everyone out there who's obviously younger than me, or at least doesn't have the back problems I do, you probably don't have to take as many warm-up swings as I take. I do it till my back feels nice and loose. It's the same reason I wear this kind of sleeveless hoodie from Bruce Bolt as well, is because I don't like swinging with real heavy sleeves. But what it does for me, and I wear this a lot even when it's warm out, is I can keep kind of my core warm, and so when I get done with this, my back's nice and loose, and so I'll do the same thing, BP, stuff like that. But we're starting with, like I said, line up with wherever you normally line up. I'm tall, so for me, I'm pretty much, I know you can't tell distance this way, but I'm pretty far off the plate. But either way, for me, this allows me to set up, and so now my normal swing from here is I'm coming down and I'm connecting there, which should put me pretty much middle. You won't obviously be able to see where the ball's going just now. This is just for 4 or 5 swings, so you can kind of get an idea of the distance, and then I'll move the camera so you can kind of see what's going on onto the field. So for me, a little bit too much pull there, so I know that I've got it not necessarily exactly where I need it. So we're gonna make a small adjustment. Also, you're not expecting to kind of be perfect here, obviously. This is for muscle memory drills. So I'm by no means a, I guess, professional hitter, whatever you want to call it, not conference, anything like that. So use this just to get that muscle memory down. Make sure you're not up here just taking lazy swings to get loose. This is the idea, is get set to where your hands normally are and follow with your same normal swing. So this helps you kind of improve, especially if that's what you're shooting for. Use it just to get loose, and you don't care really about the kind of end result, then obviously do whatever you want. So that one was just dip. That was getting under it with the weighted bat, but I know, again, you can't see the ball, but as you can see by the tee moving, and I can tell you right now that the ball went basically a whole screen's height above it. That was not a great swing. Make sure I'm set. That was a little bit better, still a little under it. Again, focus on really kind of getting my back loose right now anyway, so that everything's working together and I'm not just taking bad swings with this thing. Sounds better there. A lot of that right now is just the wobble. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the tee's about half off this turf that we've got set up, just because of where, for me, height-wise, I need the ball to be. There we go. Let's do 2 more from this angle, then I'll switch it so you can start watching the ball. And like I said, I'll fast forward through a lot of it, just so you can kind of see the routine. We're not gonna make this a long video by any means. All right. So you kind of hopefully get the idea of the distance piece. Like I said, I'm gonna rotate this around, let you see the next 15, 20 swings, whatever it takes, kind of get loose with this before rotating over. Again, we're focused middle right now, so really for me right now, my aim spot is basically just hitting that screen kind of centered up the best I can type of thing. So left and right of it, obviously it's not a huge target, and I'm not a professional here, but that's the goal. Take some more with the weighted bat before we move on to the wood. Ooh, that's a bad swing. The more you do it, the more, same with kind of like BP, if you're actually working on stuff in BP, you should be able to kind of tell what you did with your hands, legs, body, whatever, that caused some of the missed swings. Now occasionally you just miss, but that one was more of a lazy, you drop my hands here, under it. That's better. There we go. If you are looking for videos on like how to swing, cut swings, whatever it might be. Honestly, the one I liked watching, a decent amount, swing makeover on YouTube as well. I know people ask if we'll do that. If I do it, just so you know, it's going to be me kind of watching their videos, and that's how I learned a lot of my stuff, and so going from there. But we might in the future be able to work on some of that kind of stuff. We'll talk about some of it on the podcast that we've got coming out here in the near future. But yeah, swing makeover is a good one. If you look up Ryan Harvey videos on there, he's got a couple really good ones talking about how to do that as well. But there's tons of videos out there on YouTube for that portion that you can then take those mechanics and bring them to kind of this drill or whatever drill you decide to do. All right, so as I mentioned, once you kind of finish whatever, how many swings you want the weighted stick, I expedited a little bit today on what I would probably normally do swings wise, but my back feels pretty good, so we're fine. And like I said, we got some demo videos to do here shortly. But then you're going over to whatever kind of wood stick you have. You can go on, get a corn dog. Just know with the corn dogs, they have those composite handles, so they are gonna be a little more forgiving. That's why I like kind of the traditional wood bats. I haven't found any issues with them. This one is a new one. Obviously that's why it looks new, but I haven't broken any doing this kind of drill here. I'm not really swinging live with it. But again, the main purpose of this, for me at least, still somewhat weighted, 31 ounces. I normally swing kind of 27, so a little bit heavier, and just making sure I'm catching sweet spots and I'm not getting the sting on the hands. Really, I'm focused more on center, if anything, slightly down. I would rather that than again in the air, because at least for me, I know how to change my launch angle if I want to adjust in the air. But again, if we're going to run out of home runs, especially when we play here in New Mexico, we're at 4,000 feet elevation. So I don't think the Parks and Rec out here understand that. So we still have 300-foot fields, and so you hit a line drive hard enough with any launch angle, and it's going to go. And so we're really working on that. Again, today we're not going to do it, but all you would do to adjust, like I said, where you want to go with the ball is if I'm going backside, I'm probably putting the tee. I know distance hard adjustment there, but a little bit closer. So now my swing, I'm in the same spot, and I'm catching it here, backside. Pull, I'm putting it out a little more, and I'm catching it here, and that's my pull shot. So that's all you're going to do to adjust that. All right, and you get the idea with kind of the wood bat. Again, I'll just do 5 or 10 swings with the Gorilla just to finish up the kind of drill here so we can start our videos. But this kind of, again, my routine that I'm doing most of the time, as I mentioned, in the garage, in kind of my free time, or as you've heard us mention plenty of times here, New Mexico, we have like a 3-4 month windy season where if you walk outside, you and your vehicle are blowing away type of thing. So my only option is kind of hitting the garage for that. And that's why you used to see a lot of our velo videos in cages in the garage. And you'll probably see more velo here in the near future there as well. And even part ones where we only go indoors and then later come outdoors because we just have to find time we can beat the weather. There it is. That was not a terrible swing, but again, for what we're aiming for, obviously under it. That one, that was just me kind of making poor contact. Nothing other than that. Swing felt pretty good, but on a softball field, live pitching, that ball I want to get out, but you want to avoid obviously accidental home runs as much as possible. All right, and we'll end on that one. So hopefully that was somewhat informative. I know, guys, like I said, we're asking about it, but that's kind of my drill. Again, in the garage, I'm doing what you just saw the entire time. You can come out to the field, park, whatever, set up a couple orange cones to give you an idea, or buckets and go to Home Depot, of where fielders might be, and now you can work on kind of the backside. And the pool, if you're really confident in your garage, you can set up the pool setup, but don't miss and put a hole in your wall, which I may have done a couple times. If you go back and watch any of the garage velos, you'll see a couple holes up above the batting screen as well. So again, description of the video will have a list of all the equipment we use out here for this kind of stuff. If you need help picking stuff up, you're like, hey, I found this, it's cheaper, this is what I want to use. You want to know, hey, would we recommend it? Just reach out. But honestly, anything you can do to put the work in would work. I get that not everyone can spend a whole bunch of money. So if you go find a $30 tee on Amazon, if you want to record yourself, you can get, I think the tripod we used for the pocket radar was like 25 bucks. Little mount, use your phone, and now you can record, you can see what you're doing wrong and all that kind of stuff as well. So if you need help picking up balls, Evil Sports can be your cheap option as far as with code average. If you don't need sanctioned balls, if you want something you can double for both, you can buy other ones. But really, if you're gonna hit a bunch of BP with your USSSA ASA balls, I probably wouldn't game them after that because you are gonna put a pretty good wear on them. And that's why for us, we try not to spend a lot of time out here with the Pro M's because they will cook in the sun as it gets warmer and warmer here in New Mexico. It's what are we, middle of April right now, and we're this week already gonna be in the 90s. So that's why we're out here at 8 in the morning hitting, and then we're gonna start hitting under the lights as we get into the summer. Or if we have to hit when it's hot, that's when you're gonna see us using the Evil BPs a lot more, because with the cover and everything, the way they're built, they just hold up in the heat a little bit more as well. But we don't want to obviously cook the bats, things like that. So again, hopefully you enjoyed it. We're gonna go ahead, go knock out some review videos here. We'll try to bring more videos like this here in the near future, but appreciate you checking it out. Have a great day.